Remember inflation? That thing eating away at your paycheck? We've talked about how central banks fight it by raising interest rates, buying and selling bonds, and locking up bank reserves. But what happens when none of that works? When the economy is literally on life support and the old playbook is useless, that's when they say, screw it, and break every rule in the book. This is quantitative easing. Okay, so quantitative easing is the central bank literally creates brand new money out of nothing and uses it to buy up massive piles of government bonds from banks. I'm talking trillions of dollars. During the 2008 crash, the US created over 4 trillion. During COVID, another 4 trillion. Japan went even crazier, over 5 trillion. So how does this actually work? Think of it like this. First, the central bank snaps its fingers and creates new money, not by printing bills, just by typing numbers into a computer. Boom, money exists. Second, they take that fresh money and buy government bonds from big banks. Third, those banks now have a ton of cash instead of boring old bonds. The idea is simple. Banks will lend that cash to businesses and regular people. People spend it and the economy starts moving again. That's the theory anyway. Let me give you the real story. 2008. The whole financial system is collapsing. Banks won't lend to anyone. People are losing jobs. Panic everywhere. So the Federal Reserve goes, all right, desperate times, and launches quantitative easing. They started buying $85 billion in bonds every month for years. And you know what? It actually worked. The economy crawled back. Then 2020 hits. COVID shuts down the entire world overnight. The Fed fires up quantitative easing again, but this time even faster and bigger. Stock markets bounced back in months. But here's the thing nobody talks about. All that money still floating around out there. Alright, so what does QE actually do to real people? For the overall economy, short term, it's a lifesaver, stops total collapse. Long term though, all that extra money eventually causes massive inflation. For you as an individual, it depends. If you own stocks or property, congratulations, your wealth just exploded because all that new cash is chasing assets. But if you're just working your job, you're stuck watching prices shoot up while your salary barely moves. And for businesses, big corporations get cheap loans and use them to buy back their own stock. Small businesses, still out here struggling. Look, here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. Quantitative easing keeps the economy from totally crashing. And that's good. But it also makes the wealth gap absolutely massive. Rich people get richer because they own assets that balloon in value. Everyone else gets squeezed because groceries and rent keep climbing. But paychecks don't. It's like a necessary evil. We need it to survive the crisis, but man does it hurt afterwards. So you have a complete toolkit now. Interest rates to control the price of money, open market operations to manage the flow, reserve requirements to lock it down, and quantitative easing when everything else has failed and you're out of options. But here's my question for you. What happens when even quantitative easing doesn't work anymore? Next video, how taxation is used to curb inflation. Thanks for sticking with me through this whole series. Hit subscribe so you catch the next one.